If you guys are interested in being a member, then click the join button down below to check out the available perks. The first tier is only $1. Thank you to those of you who choose to join. What's up, mod squad? Welcome to another Division 2 build breakdown video. Before we get into the video, if you're already subscribed to me, then don't forget to smash that like button, as it really helps push our videos into the recommended section, which in turn helps the channel grow. Interaction is a big part of what helps us in the YouTube algorithm, and the extra support is very much appreciated. Before I go any further, I also want to thank you guys for 40,000 subs. Yep, we finally hit it, guys, and I appreciate it very much. With that said, let's get into the video. 4 months ago, I released this build which basically made you immortal in Countdown. This build ended up being majorly popular and helped tens of thousands of agents get through the mode and have fun doing it. In fact, the build made Countdown so easy that agents worried and predicted that the mode would receive changes in future updates to combat it, much like the summon got changed after I released a similar build. We then found out in TU16 the Countdown game mode would receive new difficulty levels, and the haters then claimed that builds like this would be useless because they would put more red and purple NPCs in the mode. Well, here we are in TU16.1 with the new difficulty levels in place, yet these types of builds are just as effective. If anything, they play a bigger role more now than ever, helping agents breach the onslaught of hunters and elite enemies to reach the extraction to shoot it off, which has become a lot more difficult. In today's video, I'll showcase that build which will allow you to tank mass amounts of damage from not only elite heavies, robotics and bosses, but the hunters as well. You will not be getting one shot with this build. This build and other variations of it are so ridiculously OP, you can literally get up and walk away from the game to do something, while your agent's being focused fire by multiple enemies, come back and you'll still be alive. One of the most popular variations of this build is an armor regen version with Vanguard. This build is mainly used to run in and set up the extractions, then serve as a distraction so other agents can get out. Now, the reason this build can tank so much elite NPC damage is because it has 70% protection from elites, so if you're struggling to stay alive in Countdown, protection from elites is going to majorly help. You stack protection from elites using improvised gear. Improvised gear has no brand set bonuses or talents, but allows you extra mod slots on your holster, gloves and knee pads, which will help you gain an extra 36% protection from elites. You can craft improvised gear pieces at the crafting station if you have the blueprints. This build is also designed to benefit from taking the damage, thanks to the new exotic catharsis mask. Taking damage builds stacks to a cap of 30, each stack grants 1% weapon damage. Taking damage at max stacks triggers a purge, removing all stacks and status effects, and then dropping a healing cloud which restores 5% of your max armor for 10 seconds to all allies in the cloud. On top of this build being able to tank mass amounts of damage and benefit from it, it's also lethal to all enemies, including the strongest enemies in the game, that being the hunters. The reason it's so lethal is because of the exotic Scorpio shotgun. The hunters are dangerous because of the sheer amount of damage they put out, and the Scorpio shotgun makes it extremely difficult for them to do that. The Scorpio shotgun does this by applying status effects that prevent the hunters shooting back at you. Status effects such as poison, disorient and shock. These status effects allow you the safety and time in which to kill them in, although sometimes certain objectives may be active and give them 100% hazard protection, so be aware. Now, because this build is heavily specced out into protection, it doesn't exactly melt, but this build can gain extra damage from stacking damage talents such as Vindictive and Finisher, and will benefit from teammate buffs. Let's also not forget that the Countdown game mode gives you objectives that can sometimes boost your close or long range damage. To make the most of this build, you need an aggressive playstyle to keep both damage and adrenaline armor stacks active. This build is also good for heroic content, whether that's control points, bounties, the summit, and is a lot of fun to use. Now we spoke a little bit about the build and I'll showcase some of what it's capable of. Let's get into a quick build breakdown. Right guys, starting off with a specialization, and we are using the survivalist. The main reason is because it gives us the 10% increased protection from elites. Another great thing is we get 15% increased outgoing healing, which I believe will apply to the heal you drop from the catharsis mask, which is going to help heal your teammates. We also have the fire grenade, which is going to help us proc the vindictive talent on our secondary. Our armor kit also repairs over 5 seconds instead of instantly, but also applies to the group members within 20 meters. And that is pretty much it for the specialization, guys. So with that said, let's move on to the build. So starting off with our primary weapon, we have the exotic shotgun, the Scorpio. Moving down to a talent, Septic Shock. As I mentioned earlier, guys, it has those status effects that cripple NPCs. Shooting the target applies stacks of venom, which lasts for 10 seconds. Increasing stacks adds more severe debuffs to the target. 1 is poison, 3 is disorient, 6 is shock, 7 targets take additional 20% damage from all sources. Stacks no longer increase. Duration of status effects is based on percentage of pellets hit on applying shot. When it comes to the attachments on this weapon, we have 10% reload speed on the magazine, 10% weapon handling on the grip, 10% stability on the muzzle, and 10% critical hit chance on the scope. Moving on to our secondary, and we have the Grudge SMG. The reason we're using the grudge is because it gives us the perfect vindictive talent. Killing an enemy with a status effect applied grants you and your allies within 20 meters 18% critical hit chance and 18% critical hit damage for 20 seconds. So another part of this build which is going to help benefit your teammates. We have 5% crit chance on the scope, 20 extra rounds in the magazine, 5% crit chance on the laser pointer, and 5% critical hit damage on the flash hider. Onto our sidearm, and yes, we have the orbit. If you do not have the orbit, then I recommend using the TDI card, which comes with an extra skill tier, and you can roll finisher onto that. Looking at the orbit though, it has the perfect finisher talent. Swapping from this weapon within 10 seconds of killing an enemy grants 35% critical hit chance and 40% critical hit damage for 15 seconds, and you can stack vindictive and finisher together. When it comes to the attachments, we have 20% reload speed and 10% accuracy. Right guys, getting into the gear pieces, starting off with the Karlson mask. 170k armor, 18.3% incoming repairs, near enough 5k armor regen and 12% protection from elites. And then you have the vicious cycle talent. Feel free to pause the video to go over that in greater detail. Onto our chest piece, we have a Seska chest piece giving us 10% critical hit chance, 170k armor, 10.5% critical hit damage, 5.3% critical hit chance, and 12% protection from elites via a mod. And we have the Intimidate talent. While you have bonus armor, gain 1 stack each second up to a max of 7. Each stack increases weapon damage by 5% to enemies within 10 meters. All stacks are lost when you have no bonus armor. Now another chest piece I'd recommend is the Point Man chest piece. This is a Get a Guard piece that will give you 5% total armor. The reason you use this is for the Perfect Vanguard talent. This is the chest piece you'll want to use for extractions. So Perfect Vanguard, deploying a shield makes it invulnerable for 5 seconds and grants 50% of your armor as bonus armor to all other allies for 20 seconds, and the cooldown is 25 seconds. So this will make you extra tanky. It will also make your teammates extra tanky to help them get to the extraction. Moving on to our holster, our first piece of improvised gear. We have 170k armor, 10.8% critical hit damage, 6% crit chance, and 12% protection from elites. Don't forget guys, you craft these at the crafting bench. Moving on to our knee pads, we have improvised knee pads, 15% weapon damage, 6% crit chance, 12% critical hit damage, and 12% protection from elites via mod. Don't forget guys, you can max out 13% on protection from elites mod, but it's like finding a unicorn, so good luck trying to find those mods. I have farmed Legendary Summit religiously, and I have never come across one, so if you get one, enjoy your unicorn. Moving on to our improvised gloves now, 15% weapon damage, 5.5% critical hit chance and 12% critical hit damage, and then 12% protection from elites via a mod. Moving on to our backpack now guys, we have our Badger Tough backpack giving us 10% shotgun damage, 135k armor, 10.1% critical hit damage and 4.1% critical hit chance, and then 12% protection from elites via a mod. And then the Adrenaline Rush talent, whenever you are within 10 meters of an enemy, gain 20% bonus armor for 5 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. This is what's going to cover our base armor, so when we take damage from the Karlson mask, we'll get that healing cloud. The bonus armor will cover the base armor, allowing our base armor to heal over thanks to the Karlson mask. These improvised pieces are not easy to get. When you do get them, they'll probably roll very bad and you'll have to optimize all your pieces. It took me a while just to get these. I hope you guys are stacked up on materials, but trust me, once you get these pieces, it's definitely worth it. Again, like I mentioned earlier in the video, this build won't put out mass amounts of damage, but the aim is to kind of help support your teammates and stay alive, apply status effects to cripple the strongest enemies in the game, and help everybody get out of the extraction in the end. When it comes to skills, I'd recommend using the Bulwark Shield. This is for the end distraction. Just in case there's way too many hunters, you'll be able to take a lot more hits. Moving on to our second skill, we have the Reinforcer Chem Heal. I use this at the extraction just to drop it down when I'm behind the shield in case we get overrun. Don't forget those hunters do chunk away at you, so you have to be careful still, regardless of all the bonus armor and regen you have from the Karlson. That is pretty much it for the build guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. There are multiple variants of this build. Protection from elites builds is definitely the way to go. When it comes to the end part of the countdown game mode, I'm pretty sure you can run your normal builds the majority of the way through countdown, then switch out to this kind of build at the end. If you haven't already, don't forget to smash that like button, help us reach our 500 like goal. Thank you guys so much for helping me get to 40k subs. I really appreciate all of you. And with that said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, Mob Squad.
You stabilized the pressure. Now we should cut off that steam.
Evacuate the facility. 5 minutes to lockdown.
Cooling system pressure limits exceeded. Purge system to stabilize the pressure.
You need to vent the remaining steam, and you'll be good to go.
High-risk target approaching.
Coolant system pressure limits exceeded. Purge system to stabilize the pressure.
Vital signs critical.
Great. Now that's under control. You just need to vent the remaining steam, and you should be good to go.
Coolant system pressure limits exceeded. Purge system to stabilize the pressure.
We've stabilized the pressure. Now we just need to cut off that steam.
Serious trauma detected. An agent needs assistance.
Vent the steam, and you're good to go.
High-risk target approaching. Cooling system stabilized. Logged in 1 minute.
Maximum pressure limits exceeded. Coolant system failure imminent.
Great work, Agent. The power plant is stable. Now get the hell out of there.